first of all, black people ain't had nothing to do with this. We wasn't nowhere near Utah. So I'm like, how was the response to go after black students? And it's interesting because I was talking to one of my best friends who graduated from Grambling. And I was like, is Grambling on lockdown? Because, like, it was just kind of, like, in the moment. And it's like we're getting these alerts about this school and that school, Hampton, and all these different schools. So I was like, what is happening? And I was like, and why are we in this, right? Like, what is it that students on a HBCU campus have to do with this, right? Like, that wasn't a place that... let me point this out. We have had school shootings that have taken place on all types of campuses. And there are those, specifically on the right, that always want to put out this idea that black folk are dangerous and criminal, and we just have more of a propensity to commit crimes and things like that. Do you know how many school shootings we've had at a HBCU?
Zero.
One of the safest campus that you can be, a safe haven. And it is interesting because those campuses were created out of kind of the segregation idea, but we don't do that. It's not, in the idea that, as soon as it happened and the next thing you know, the trans community is under attack again, right? Because they said that the Minnesota shooting was a trans woman, I believe. And so because it was a trans person, they're like, oh, this is what happens. But I was like, so we're not going to talk about white supremacy? Like, we're not going to talk about the fact that the vast majority of these shootings, whether they are seen as political or not, if we look at the numbers, white supremacy ideology. But we don't want to do anything about that. There's no legislation that they want to bring. Every time you say white supremacy, they want to yell, oh, you're race baiting. No, I am going on facts. Like, these crimes, when we look at these mass shootings, most of them are linked to neo-Nazism or, Proud Boys or whatever. It's always some white supremacy kind of thing that's going on. It's not black folk that are going out there. It's not immigrants that are going out there. But what cities are we going into? Black cities, because we are supposedly the ones that commit all the crime. Which people are we going after? Immigrants, because allegedly it's immigrants, but we don't want to have a talk about what the numbers say, what the facts say, which is that we have a white supremacy problem in this country. So until we decide to deal with the problem, we're going to continue to have a problem.
For a hair nail speak, she did the finger thumb tap and said, "Glock it."
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and that was JASMINE CROCKETT talking about the threats that HBCUs have received since the Charlie KIRK shooting at Utah State University. And as much as I don't like this ghetto ass chick, I don't even know how the fuck she made it into Congress. But that's neither here nor there. I gotta agree with her on this. As much as I think she a ratchet ass Democrat shield, she's right. There hasn't been any mass shootings on HBUC. We don't do that historically, culturally, ethnically. We just don't do mass shootings. Now gang members do, but that ain't mass shooting. They just can't shoot, so they shoot everything, including the old woman coming out of the convenience store, the nigga coming out of the corner store with a pack of cigarettes, get grazed, the little kid unfortunately gets clipped. It don't be like they aiming at 50 million motherfuckers or even a high profile person. Now with Charlie KIRK, I feel like that was either a hit or somebody disgruntled that date trans people, and Charlie KIRK had railed on everybody, including trans people. So the white dude might have summoned the courage, borrowed his dad's rifle, and did the Lord's work. I don't know. What I can say is the fact that far-right extremists calling HBUCs threatening black school, that this is it, the only black institution that's been threatened. The fact that they're making threats when we had nothing to do with Charlie KIRK getting blasted. That was his own undoing. Now we didn't like the shit he said, but Ain't nobody suiting up, booting up, and clipping Charlie Kirk. It's not even worth it. The jail time ain't worth the bullet. So we had no dog in the fight. We just sat back and watched like everybody else. But I'm assuming because on social media, namely Twitter, we don't show a lot of empathy, and that's pissing them off. And my ass bleeds to that. But I mean, I gotta side with Jasmine Crockett here. In light of Jasmine Crockett, she also goes on to say, and this is in an article, that I have to raise money to keep myself safe. Now, while I don't agree with far-right extremists threatening HBCUs or people that go to them, politicians should be scared. So this is a good thing. Now, maybe they can aim this frustration in the right direction. I've always said about mass shootings or public shootings, and with mass shootings, I've literally said that it's the right ideal, wrong direction. So maybe they'll turn this thing around and we'll get some, I don't know, results. I've also said, if this thing in America called a revolution ever was to pop off, it ain't gonna be black people that pop it off, right? And as my duty as a black person, it is my responsibility to instigate and or gaslight the white man. Because, yeah, what do people always say? It's only 13% of us, so we don't got the numbers. But white dudes gonna work y'all magic. they got the numbers, the drive, and the tenacity. And I'm gonna just keep it 100. Why would I ever want to get in the way? I have nothing. This is not a fight for black people. Now I don't know about a civil war or whatnot. They'll probably get decimated. What I do know is these corrupt politicians overspending, cutting health care, and not treating veterans right and homeless people right, and disenfranchised people, the cost of living. America's fucked up right now. I'm gonna keep it 100. If you're under the age of 45, it's gonna be like climbing up Mount Everest to buy a house, right? Especially when them shits are priced at $2, $3, and $4 million. So yeah, but get off our back. This goes for all you right-wing GOP Charlie Kirk followers. Black and brown people didn't have shit to do with nothing. This is something y'all gotta duel out amongst you and your brethren. And considering the state of Utah got the shooter in custody, it's a good day in Oz. In any event, if y'all like this episode, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out.